MJ tapped it, Marbury got it, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to end the 0-4 against the Chicago Bulls.
And it's New Year's Day early.
These fans react as the streamers come down. They are going absolutely berserk. The NBA Finals, well, no, not quite, but the fact that they've never beaten the Bulls makes this like they've just won the NBA Finals.
Believe it or not, what you just saw was the ending to the Timberwolves' very first victory over the Chicago Bulls ever. This was the only time they managed to beat MJ when he was on the Bulls, so by all means, go ahead and celebrate. It's a pretty big deal getting your first ever win against the GOAT. But what if I told you that some outside interference played a part in making the job easier? When it came to Air Jordan, many of his opponents knew that there wasn't really much they can do to completely stop him. They definitely tried, but their efforts always seemed to fail, which forced them to get creative and come up with various different strategies to slow him down, resulting in some cruel game plans. Jordan has been a target of many so-called pranks throughout the years, like when somebody stole his jersey right before a game against Orlando in the year 1990, causing him to settle for a random number 12 jersey instead. And of course, let's not forget about the iconic flu/poisoned pizza game, which, if true, was a pathetic attempt to get him to not feel 100%. People would do anything possible to get him off his game. No, seriously, on December 30th, 1997, someone took things a little bit too far, which was probably the reason why it was left out of the Last Dance documentary. The Minnesota Timberwolves first came into existence in 1989, and interestingly, they played the Bulls a total of 16 times between 1989 and the 1997 game that we're about to talk about. And their record against the Bulls to that point, 0-16. So going into this game, the T-Wolves were desperate to finally get a W versus Jordan. But that's easier said than done.
With Garnett on him. 6 on the shot clock. Michael goes by him off the glass, puts it in. MJ goes down to post up with Carr on him. Tony goes away. Michael spins and hits. Pulls down the rebound. Out to Michael, wide open for 3. Oh, he's been stretching from there.
Jordan had the hot hand early, and before you knew it, he actually broke a nice little record.
Shot clock at 6. Michael, top of the circle, jumper
And there it is. Double figures for Mike, 11 points, Tom.
He just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time consecutive double-figure points games. Here's what we're talking about. Michael Jordan, 788th consecutive game scoring 10 or more points, which is an NBA record.
Michael would put up 17 points in the first half, carrying the Bulls to a comfortable lead going into halftime. So you know he had to have been feeling pretty good, especially after breaking that minor record. But he had no idea what was in store for him in the locker room. When Michael arrived backstage, he was immediately hit with the news that his mother, Dolores, was in critical condition and that she had been rushed to the hospital. Jordan was understandably shocked by the news, but there wasn't really much he can do about it considering he was currently in Minnesota at the time. So his only option was to frantically make some phone calls to confirm what happened. And what he discovered was that his mom was actually okay, and that it was a complete false alarm. He was absolutely relieved to hear that. But the question still remained, who made up the fake story that his mother was rushed to the hospital? Well, it turned out that it was a prank call. Apparently, according to reports, somebody called the Target Center posing as MJ's brother, Larry, and left the message in the first half, and the employees working there planned on informing Michael at halftime. But eventually, it was determined that his brother did not actually call, and that it was all just one big hoax. Once again, Jordan was certainly grateful that the claims regarding his mom were not true, but still, the damage was done. And this whole fiasco caused him to miss almost 4 minutes of second half action.
MJ has just made his way back, and timeout called by Minnesota.
Now, while MJ was gone, his teammates managed to sustain the lead, and it was a good sight to see him finally return back to the game. But it was visibly clear that Michael was a little shaken up by the whole situation, which caused him to play poorly in the second half.
Jordan back in the game.
MJ with Carr on him. Fadeaway
What was
jumper.
that?
Luke with a rebound to the corner for MJ with Garnett on him. Michael fakes a couple times. Spins. Comes underneath. Had it blocked by Garnett. But the Bulls get the loose ball. Shot clock about to go off. MJ didn't get it off in time. Shot clock went off and it'll belong to the Timberwolves.
Remember, you can't really blame him. You wouldn't perform all that great either after a scare like that.
And, you know, somebody says, well, he takes a lot of shots. But, John, you got to get your rhythm back when you've had that halftime break. It can take a couple shots to get going again. Pass deflected. Marbury comes up with it.
And here's the commentators giving an explanation to why Michael was late to the floor. But we all know that was just an attempt to cover up what really happened.
Eric Collins is standing by. Eric, can you help us solve the mystery?
Yeah, well, the Bulls training staff confirmed what we kind of thought. Michael was just getting a little bit more treatment on his back and kind of lost track of time.
Throughout the game, Jordan was struggling to get a bucket, and the Timberwolves took advantage.
Garnett with a rebound, gets it out to Marbury. He pushes it up the floor. Marbury comes down, puts it up, and got it, and he's fouled by Ron Harper.
You could tell Minnesota was determined to take down the champs. It was clear that after what Jordan went through at halftime, it was difficult to emotionally recover. He just couldn't get his head back in the game. And just like it was with the 73-win Golden State Warriors, beating these Chicago Bulls, even in the regular season, was a pretty big accomplishment. But I'm sure the T-Wolves were probably not happy once they found out that the reason they won had hardly anything to do with them. I guess you could say that their very first victory over Chicago came with sort of an asterisk. After the game, during a post-game interview, he was asked if he had talked to his mother, and understandably, Jordan wasn't in the mood for those type of questions, and just simply said, "That's none of your business," and then immediately cut the interview short. The caller was still unknown at the time, and the league, along with the Timberwolves organization, sparked an investigation of their own, working together to desperately find out who placed the bogus phone call. And criminal charges were waiting if the person were to ever be identified. When it comes to the most unusual Michael Jordan games, we got the flu game, the stolen jersey game, and now I think it's safe to say that the prank call game definitely belongs in that category. Alright guys, let me know down in the comments if you've ever heard of this story before. I was absolutely shocked when I found out about it, and I knew I just had to make this video to share with you guys. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.